Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brad Grew of the Haas Team Podcast. I had to just get this audio out really quickly after the qualifying in Bahrain because Martin Brundle is a lying bastard. I cannot believe that he had the gall to say something this reckless on the Sky F1 broadcast of the qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Lando Norris giving it absolutely everything in his McLaren. Been running fairly well so far this weekend, and he's on course to beat Alex Albon, but he's had to back right off because the Haas in the final corner there was right in his way.
And he nearly dropped it as well when he hit the throttle, did Grosjean. So that was quite clearly a block, and you're not allowed to block in qualifying.
So Romain Grosjean's backing off to make himself a little bit of space behind Sebastian Vettel, but he's backing off too much and he's on the racing line.
That could have been a very nasty accident. And I had a team manager telling me on the way flying over here that Haas do not tell their drivers about traffic. They leave them to look in the mirror. I find that amazing. Yeah. But they say they listen to the Haas radio. They listen into each other's radios. And they don't tell the drivers about impending cars coming up behind them. Because that could easily be a penalty there for Grosjean.
Martin, don't be so stupid. It's easily verifiable. If only, Martin, you had the ability to verify these things yourself. If only they captured the audio from these sessions that you could hear the race engineers talk to the drivers. If only, you dolt. To prove what Martin Brundle said is a bold-faced lie, this first clip is race engineer Dominic Haynes talking to Romain Grosjean during Q1 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. This includes the incident where Norris nearly came into his rear end. And you can hear race engineer Dominic Haynes over the 2 flying laps and the laps in between talking to Romain Grosjean about traffic behind him.
So you are in sync with all the cars around you, all the cars around you are in sync. We think there's a chance the Mercedes at the head of the queue will slow down. So you can make a gap earlier, it may be beneficial. Watch for Norris behind now. Okay, Russell will be pushing behind, We got completely fucked by the Ferrari on the outside. We saw it. Nobody coming, you're in sync with all cars around. Okay, remember we will have bought this lap, Watch for Sainz behind, 3.5 seconds, he is pushing. Once Sainz comes past, Perez, 6 seconds behind, pushing. Perez 3.5 behind, pushing. Perez 2 behind. Next car behind, Gasly, 4 seconds back, pushing. He is closely followed by Ricciardo. Gasly and Ricciardo will come through shortly. Okay, now clear behind. Box, Roman, box.
Okay, that audio was cut and spliced really quickly, but that was all just from Q1 with Romain Grosjean and Dominic Haynes, his race engineer. As you can hear, Dominic Haynes is clearly giving Romain Grosjean traffic updates on where he's at. What happened with the Lando Norris issue, Romain Grosjean was backing up and Sebastian Vettel pushed in front of him, cutting his backup space in half. And so, Grosjean slowed down, and as you can hear, he was pretty frustrated, dropping an F-bomb, talking about the Ferrari, and Dominic Haynes said, "We saw." And it just happened to be that Grosjean was in the racing line because he was prepared to make the turn to begin accelerating down the first straight, and it just happened. It's just bad luck for Grosjean again, that Vettel passed him, screwed up his spacing. Dominic Haynes didn't adjust to the fact that Grosjean was slowing down even further to know that Norris was going to be on his backside. You had to think that Dominic Haynes was thinking that Grosjean was about to turn down the main straight to begin his acceleration going into his flying lap. But let's not leave it there. Let's hear race engineer Gary Gannon talking to Kevin Magnussen on his 1 flying lap and his several outlaps.
Okay, 1 pushing car, Norris. Okay, Perez is leaving the pit lane behind. Norris is in turn 15 now, so Norris is like 15 behind. He'll be the 1 pushing car. So yeah, make a gap to that group now like you're doing, and then we can do a little bit more later. It's just like 10 cars ahead. Perez 7 behind outlap. Okay, Norris is 10 behind. Norris is 10 behind now. Push. Okay, Norris is 6 behind on a push. Norris in turn 8 now on a push. So next car behind is Norris, 5 behind on a push. Norris 3.5. Norris 2 behind. Okay, that's it. Now you're in sync with everyone. It's about 10 cars starting a lap ahead. And 4 cars behind out lap. Clear behind. Kubica just finished a lap. I'm just going to find the next pushing car for you. Next pushing car is like 20 behind, so he has a ways to get to you. Albon, 14 behind on a push, so he'll probably catch us before the end. Okay, so Albon's still 9 behind. Okay, well, box now, Kevin, box now. Albon's still 8 behind, he's on a push. Box now. Yep, and watch for the weighbridge lights. Watch the bridge lights.
And so that was Kevin Magnussen and race engineer Gary Gannon on the one flying lap in Q1 at the Bahrain Grand Prix that Kevin Magnussen did. As you can hear, they are constantly talking about other cars and where they are. For Romain Grosjean, he was in pace with most of the other cars around him for most of his qualifying one session, with the exception of Lando Norris coming up on his rear end whenever Sebastian Vettel had cut in front of him towards the beginning of his flying lap. I'm not excusing Romain Grosjean. He should have not been in the driving line, and he should be using his mirrors to know that they're coming up. And it was a very dangerous speed difference between he and Lando Norris. But at the same time, Martin Brundle has no right to be saying that Haas race engineers and the Haas team do not talk to their drivers about traffic around them. That's BS, Martin. You should know better. You're supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to work for Sky F1 Sports, not the Daily Mail or the Daily Mirror. You jackass.